Elimination Chamber, what if? I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, this is a little bit more, fan fiction you could really go about. Fantasy booking, conspiracy theories, however you want to describe it. It's not so straightforward as in, who do we think is going to win? It's, what do we think is going to happen? What if this happens? What if this happens? I mean, we had a little bit of one in the prediction video. What if the unsanctioned match starts at Kevin Owens' house?
I would love it.
You know?
I would love it. Yeah, we're just going to dive deep into the conspiracy theories of wrestling and fantasy booking galore. But let's get right into it. But before we start, of course, if you want to come watch Elimination Chamber with some WWE fans, that would have a lot of fun. Our live stream for Elimination Chamber will be on Saturday during the Chamber right here on YouTube, COD WrestlePod. And of course, we'll be live for SmackDown as well, just like we are for every Raw, SmackDown, and PLE. So be there. Let's start with the Women's Chamber match.
Come.
I did not have anything on here for the Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus stuff, so we're going to skip over that. I apologize if anybody has any weird conspiracies with that one.
I mean, that's pretty much like, you know, the cookie cutters you use?
Yeah.
Well, like Christmas or,
whatever
holiday you celebrate. It's like that.
Yeah.
Like this happens and we get this.
Yeah, we're skipping past that one. Women's Chamber, though, has a lot that could be happening. Let's start with Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
Alexa Bliss's place in this Elimination Chamber is something to talk about because I do not see her winning the Chamber, but I also don't see her getting pinned. How I don't see her getting pinned, I foresee some sort of Wyatt 6 shenanigans to get Alexa Bliss out of this match. What if the Wyatt 6 show up for Alexa Bliss in the Chamber?
God, yeah, that's about the only way I could really book this. You look at the women participants here, and all of them have some sort of story or some sort of clouds hanging over them about potentially this or potentially double champs or just lost tag titles, attacked a former friend, and you got a pretty good rivalry brewing up, and then you got Alexa Bliss. And you're like, I don't really know how she fits in here. I think she comes out. I think she gets some great offense in. I think she looks good. I think it's like a quick showcase when she does come out. And then I think we just get some lights out. Maybe we get something up on the screen. Maybe some sort of howdy thing, maybe like a you're here sort of thing, or I don't know, something like that, right? And then I think you just get Alexa just leaving the Chamber. I mean, I think it's probably that simple. I don't know who would pin her out of this list here of the women. I also don't really want her to get pinned because she hasn't really returned at any match. Like she had the qualifying match after the Rumble. That's really it. So she can't really afford to take a loss. Who I would have pin her, I don't know. So yeah, why not? Usually the Wyatt 6 stuff, I'm kind of like, hey, I don't need that to interfere in such an important match. But I think something like this is really needed for Alexa to really kind of jumpstart that story with her returning because you got a little bit of it, but you really don't have like the deep dive into Alexa Bliss with the return. I think that's where it kind of kicks off here.
I think the more important story for Alexa Bliss right now is whatever the hell's going on with the Wyatt 6 stuff. I don't think she needs to be just shot into a cannon back to the world title scene with Rhea Ripley right now. Let's do something fun here that gets the Wyatt 6 back on the map in a big way. Have Uncle Howdy show up. Have Alexa Bliss break through the Chamber and go join Uncle Howdy and establish that this is more important to Alexa Bliss than any championship opportunity could be. Have the lights flicker. Have the fireflies come out with the crowd. Do something crazy. Do something wacky. It saves Alexa Bliss from being pinned. It saves anybody from having to pin Alexa Bliss. And then, it saves us from having to deal with like, well, should she have been in the title shot? Should she have not been? I think that we should do some fun stuff with Alexa Bliss and the Wyatt 6, kickstart all of that. What better opportunity than Elimination Chamber for it?
Yeah, I would, say the only, pushback in terms of who would end up pinning Alexa would maybe be whoever attacked Jade Cargill. Maybe that's one and the same because whoever turned their back on Jade.
Ooh, good.
Maybe that's the only thing.
That's solid.
But at the same time, that's down the line, right? Like you still want Jade versus the attacker first.
Yeah.
So that part would be down the line. So again, I guess without knowing that answer, I don't know who I would pick.
Yeah, that's a really good point though, because that story would feed into each other technically, given the Wyatt 6's, previous reasons for attacking people. We'll come back to Jade. I do want to ask one more thing. I do feel like Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair are pretty much the heavy favorites here. Very, very heavy favorites. But anything can happen in good old-fashioned wrestling. What if Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan do not end up being the winners of the Chamber?
Oh man. Yeah, I would say if they don't end up being the winners of the chamber, this is I wouldn't say a failure, but this is a curveball I didn't see coming, and it better be Roxanne. That's pretty much the only thing I've got here. Roxanne's the future, right? She's the prodigy. Everybody knows how great she is. I'm sure she would be fantastic with Rhea. If it's not Bianca, if it's not Liv, that's your answer. Now, would it make a whole lot of sense? No, not really. Could she maybe pull double duty, Bailey and then Rhea? I mean, yeah, I guess so. She done double duty, triple duty before, but that would be the only answer. That would be the only thing that I would even, I guess, make sense. Come out of it and be like, okay, yeah, let's do that. That would be cool.
Yeah, I completely agree here. If it's not Liv and if it's not Bianca, it has to be Roxanne. It would be a curve out of nowhere, and I feel like most people would kind of be like, against it. I would be a little bit on edge. I'd be 50-50. I would be intrigued because I'm like, oh my God, Triple H just straight up pulled the trigger on this. Hell yeah, what's going to happen next? But at the same time, I'd be like, okay, well, Liv and Bianca kind of deserve this, right? Like, this is their moment. Roxanne's going to have many moments down the line, I assume, and we're eventually going to get Roxanne Rhea. I mean, that's just inevitable, and I think that this would be too soon to pull it. I don't think it's happening, but I'm with you. If it's not Liv, if it's not Bianca, make it Roxanne. Nobody else here makes sense. I'm sorry. But then let's get to the big one.
The big one.
The big one. The main cloud surrounding the Women's Elimination Chamber is the impending Jade Cargill return. Does she return at SmackDown? Does she return at Elimination Chamber? And if she does, who does she attack? What ends up happening?
Yeah, I've got her returning on SmackDown, I think. I was a advocate for a return on Raw. Once that match happened, though, and once that match was 5-star match of the year candidate, I was like, you know what? I'm glad she didn't come back. Keep her away from this match. So I think maybe we get that on SmackDown. Maybe you get some sort of promo in terms of Bianca and Naomi talking about how they lost the tag titles. Maybe you get something like that. And then I think we just flat out comes out at that point. I think we flat out get maybe an attack at Naomi or maybe a verbal confirmation that Naomi was the one that did it. I don't really see Bianca kind of being wrapped up in that. I think they maybe have bigger plans for Bianca. I think maybe the triple threat at one point was something I was really kind of fascinated by. But at this point, I'm just kind of like, I think it's Naomi. It makes more sense for Naomi. I have Bianca winning the chamber. So for me, that wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. You've got the heel Naomi there, and Bianca can defend her friend, basically, defend Jade and choose that side. And really kind of just catapult to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't really care if she debuts or re-debuts on SmackDown or Chamber. I just think that it should happen this weekend. It should happen right now, and it should have major effects on the Elimination Chamber match. How I would personally do it is probably have her come back at the very end of SmackDown, not even say a word. Just establish she's here and just stare into the ring or somewhere at these two, and we're both like, what the hell just happened? Or maybe she even ends the show by just going, Naomi, and she says the name that attacked, and then we get to the Chamber, and that's the big story between Naomi and Bianca in the Chamber that I think will end up costing them both in the long run. I do think the Jade return is going to end up being the reason that Liv Morgan wins the Chamber over Bianca. I do think Bianca is going to be wrapped in to whatever the Jade Naomi stuff ends up being. But I think it's time. I think that we're ready. I think Jade should return this weekend. And we get all that on the road because it's going to be good.
Yeah. Maybe I do like the end of the show thing. I do like that. Maybe you don't even get a word. Maybe you just get a point. Because a point is effective because you're like, which one is she pointing at? I don't know who she's pointing. I don't know who it's one of them.
She counts to 3.
It's one of them. I don't know who, but now we got the confirmation.
Just the next slate. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's really nice. You're trying to sell me on Liv Morgan winning the chamber, and it's almost working.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm not buying, though.
It's going to happen. I'm sorry. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Let's get to that one. Not much clouding this one either. This is just going to be a war. I mean, I believe them in their promos when they say they're going to kill each other. They're going to make each other's family sad. All the stuff that this 10-year decade feud needs. They really don't need even any more talking because goddamn, we just believe it when they attack each other. It's like, okay, we get it. We're doing this again. I'm sold. Let's do it. But one thing surrounds it that people are going to talk about is Randy Orton going to return around this Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match at Elimination Chamber, whether it be there or right after, in order to go after Kevin Owens?
I got right after. I got the SmackDown after. I think with everything happening with the other matches, with the 2 chamber matches, I think you give Randy his own kind of return. You let Randy get that to really drive that point home. That's what I would do. I would like Kevin to just destroy Sammy and pile drive him. I think you hinted at maybe that's how you get Sammy off of the Mania card, which is a great idea. And then you have it to where Kevin comes out on SmackDown, is gloating like, look what I did to my friend. I could really do this to really any one of you. And then you get the music. Then you get Randy Orton returning. And then you get the punt, like you said. You had mentioned the punt, and I guess I never really thought about it. But once you mentioned it, yeah, you signed me up for a punt. That sounds real nice.
I just think there's not going to be a happy ending for either of these guys. I think Kevin Owens is going to win with a package pile driver, and Sammy's going to be looking there like he needs to go to the hospital. And I think that while Kevin Owens is like laying there kind of celebrating with maybe an arm up, we are going to get the Randy Orton return. And I think that he just punts the crap out of Kevin Owens. I mean, if the package pile driver is now being reused in WWE, what better time to bring back the punt? So I think Randy Orton comes in, punts Kevin Owens. You have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens both laying there dead to end their night of Elimination Chamber, and you got Randy Orton sitting there ready for a great Kevin Owens feud going into WrestleMania, and it's Randy Orton. I mean, I just can't wait. See him pose. It's going to be great.
Yeah, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, though, how long does the punt keep him out for?
Not much time, because
I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, oh, wait a second.
When he came back after he took the Alabama Slam through the ring or through the ladder, and then he came back and attacked Sami Zayn, and he was just covered in bruises and cuts. I was like, I like this idea of Kevin Owens just being able to like survive anything you throw at him, like hit him with a Mack truck and he shows up the next day looking destroyed, but he fights through it. I'm like, that just adds to this character. So I don't even need Kevin Owens to sit out. I want him walking in with a neck brace and a cane on Friday Night SmackDown and being like, Randy, I want you right now. I think it'd be hilarious. Anyway, this part of the night, this is when the conspiracies get thrown. This is when the what ifs get thrown.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. There's a bunch of what ifs with this one.
The hell is about to happen? Cody Rhodes, Rock wants this man's soul. Cody Rhodes came out on Monday and was talking about basically, in a way, he could see why it would be nice to join The Rock because his dad had to wrestle till his mid-60s in order to provide for his family, and The Rock could be able to provide for the Rhodes generations to follow if he wanted to do it. But at the same time, he wants to be a fighting champion. That's the reason he got here. He wants to, claw to the top. He's a fighting American. He's the son of a plumber, right? American made. But
no, that's Ivy Nile.
Oh, that's Ivy Nile. I'm sorry, wrong people here. What about Ivy Nile? Anyway, let's just get this one out of the way. What if Cody Rhodes shows up to Elimination Chamber and he says yes to The Rock? He becomes corporate Cody Rhodes. What happens next?
God, my mind would be blown, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I would be like, what the hell did we just see? I think if that happens, I think we get confirmation of the Chamber winner before the Chamber starts. I think if Cody Rhodes signs the deal with the devil here, I think you're 1,000% getting John Cena to win the Chamber match to go against Cody at Mania, which, sign me up. That sounds fantastic. Not much more else needs to really be said about that. I think that really kind of gets what you get there, and we really kind of start to maybe see the heel work. Now, do I think that's going to happen? I'm going to say no. But, God, that would be a way to blow up the internet.
Yeah, I don't see this happening, but my lord, would it be good in my opinion. If Cody just broke at that quickly, just walked out and was like, you know what? Yeah, I want all this. I want all the money, the fame, the fortune. And he just turned right away. The whole crowd would be like, well, what the hell, man? We just backed you up for 2 years. What are you doing? And I think you're right. It would immediately lead to a John Cena win because you get the biggest babyface versus what would be the biggest new heel in the game at WrestleMania. I just think it would be a fantastic, quick heel turn. Most people would probably hate it, and that's why I would like it even more. Is because I think that there would be real life go away heat with Cody Rhodes. But do I see this happening? Hell no. He's not saying yes.
Yeah, I think if it happens this quick, you're going to be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with how drawn out some of the stuff is, for good or bad, like that would just go against everything they've done, everything for the 2 years, like you said. So it's like, well, don't do that. Give us a little bit of build up.
What I think most people are kind of missing on this Cody Rock thing is that Roman Reigns and The Rock are boys. They just fought at last WrestleMania. Why would The Rock not come back and ask Roman Reigns to be the champion for The Rock, right? And now we have confirmation of this new final chief that Roman Reigns has trademarked for the WWE. What if we get some sort of Roman coming out talking smack to The Rock, and we do end up getting the final chief versus the final boss at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's a little interesting that they would trademark that and come out with the new merch and the new everything so conveniently timed, right? You're like, oh man. I'm gonna be honest with you. If this happens, I'm not a fan of it. I don't want this. I don't want that to happen. I firmly want Rollins and Reigns. I want Cody and Rock stuff over here with whoever Cody wants to face or whoever Rock maybe gets. I want that separate right now. I don't need that right this second. But it does beg the question, The Rock calls Cody, hey, I want a brother. And well, what about Roman Reigns? Isn't Roman Reigns not that? Well, that at one, I thought you guys were pretty much inseparable at one point.
Literally the bloodline.
Yeah. Well, what about Solo? Or, we had all these conspiracies about like, maybe Solo is just running everything for The Rock. So it's like some way, somehow that's going to come back into play. I don't know when. I'm thinking it would be too rushed to do it now. So that's a big storyline heading into, I guess, the rest of the year into next year.
I don't think it's going to happen, but the fact that they trademarked the final chief when the final boss comes back seems a little fishy to me. And you're right. It makes sense. Why wouldn't Roman Reigns come back and be like, dude, we literally are the bloodline together. We literally tag teamed last year together. Why would you not say that you want me to be like a brother to you? Why would you pick Cody, my arch nemesis? And then that could be something to where, that could even lead to Cody Rhodes being like, well, no, because your soul isn't right. He just said that Seth Rollins' soul is basically tainted from the past. Why wouldn't Roman's be tainted from the past? And then you can kind of have Cody snap there. Roman Reigns is becoming a face again, and then of course you'd have Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania, which a ton of people want to see. But I do think that there isn't as much time as I would personally want to build up to the WrestleMania match, because I would want a solid multi-month build up with these two, kind of like how we saw last year with The Rock and Cody, how great that was. But if they did end up doing this, you know what? I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, it would be out of character because the bloodline stuff has, and the Shield stuff, even you could date back, it all takes forever. And you have the elements of Roman's soul being tainted with everything the bloodline did, right? So that's a great reason. It would just not make any sense to really hit the fast forward button so quick. You would got to give it the time. Yeah,
because it was 2 weeks ago. It felt like The Rock we weren't going to see The Rock till who knows when.
We heard nothing about The Rock, and then all of a sudden The Rock was like, boom, I'm back. We had
reports that he wasn't making Mania, and then it was like, okay, well, we're done. Oh, I'm showing up on SmackDown and I want Cody's soul. Huh? What? Uh-huh. What are you doing? Yeah. Okay. One more for this one, though. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be more of my prediction. I don't think that Cody is going to be the one to join The Rock. I think it's going to be CM Punk. I think that Cody is going to say no at the Elimination Chamber. I think CM Punk is going to lose at Elimination Chamber, and he's going to utilize his favor to get a meeting with The Rock and become The Rock's champion, in which The Rock, corporate TKO Rock, puts CM Punk into the WrestleMania title match. What if that happens?
Once you threw this idea out there, I thought, oh man, that's good. That's good. I really like that. I mean, I think there's two options, realistically. I think either Punk or Cena, maybe. Cena talks about what's best for business. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want Cena wrapped up in this. I want Cena kind of doing his own thing. But Cena talks about what's best for business. Well, The Rock's talking about what's best for business. And, I mean, Cena's soul has never been tainted, right? Cena's been babyface through babyface through babyface since the beginning of time, right? So it's either one of those two. I think whoever doesn't win the chamber out of Punk or Cena, that's your answer.
Yeah, I could see both of those happening. The whole soul being tainted thing, that's a great point. That didn't really come up until the Seth Rollins thing. Cody did point that out, so that is now an established part of the story. I just think that with CM Punk being so desperate, it feels like, to get to this WrestleMania main event constantly, every single week, pointing at the WrestleMania sign, even mid-matches against people, pointing the Mania sign, saying that that's my future, that's my future. I think this guy is desperate. I think he will lose at the Elimination Chamber, and I think he will be doing anything he can to get his WrestleMania main event this year. And what better way than going back to old Dwayne and having Dwayne and TKO put you right where you want to be, becoming the corporate Punk. That would just be the biggest turn of events, and good Lord, would I be here for it.
Yeah, in some way, somehow, shape, or form, that's still, like, I guess, Punk would still have the favor in his back pocket, or maybe he can't get through, so maybe he has Paul Heyman help assist him with who knows, right? Yeah. The favor's still there, but then you could also do the corporate side thing with The Rock. Like, as soon as you mentioned that, I was like, oh man, corporate Punk would be damn good.
Oh my God.
That would be damn good. Like I said, I don't want Cena to really do it because I want Cena to do his own thing. But I mean, everything The Rock says, you look at it and you're like, well, that also lines up really well with John Cena.
He'd finally get his face on candy bars or what
ice cream.
Ice cream. Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the ice cream and all that stuff, just like he said a while back. So it'd be full circle for good old Punk. Mm-hmm. Let's get to the Chamber, though. Let's stick to Roman Reigns. A lot of people are thinking that Roman Reigns is going to show up during this Elimination Chamber match and screw either Seth Rollins, CM Punk, or maybe even both of them. So what if Roman does end up showing up during the Chamber match?
Yeah, why not just screw everybody? Why not? Just Roman Reigns, I'm the final chief. I spare everybody. Why not, right? Yeah, I think Roman has to. I think there's too much kind of clouded and hanging above our heads with like the Roman stuff. I mean, also, Mania is not that far away. We kind of got to get Roman back. We kind of got to get Roman Mania path kind of figured out here. I think the return to screw Rollins over is probably the most likely thing. That's what I want to see. I do have a little bit of hesitation because it is Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns doesn't always show up when we think he's going to show up, but I feel like you have to here. I feel like it would be a misstep if they don't.
It's WrestleMania time, and I find myself not that interested in Roman Reigns right now. And I feel like something like this needs to happen to get a jolt back of life back into my belief in Roman Reigns right now. Of course, he's my tribal chief forever, but it just feels like we haven't seen him very much at all this year. And it feels like Seth Rollins kind of got away with doing some nasty shit to him at Royal Rumble without any consequence right now. And I think actions have consequences, and the tribal chief is going to want to come back and whoop some ass after getting double stomped outside of the ring and then into the stairs. I mean, come on, receipts are due for Seth Rollins, and I feel like what better receipt than to come and literally screw the guy out of a world title match. I don't think Roman's going to be there to go after Punk as well, but I think that his run-in is going to accidentally cause Punk to also lose this match. We're going to roll that up into it so that you do have that potential if you want to add CM Punk into the Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins stuff at Mania. I'd rather them not do that, but I do think that's what we get here.
Yeah, I think it's something very simple. I think, like you said, maybe it's just a Paul Heyman appearance, maybe something like that. Maybe we don't actually get Roman Reigns, but they always keep telling us actions have consequences. People keep repeating that. Well, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, Seth just kind of keeps screwing over Roman Reigns. I mean, as much as we talk about Kevin Owens screwing over Sami Zayn, like how many times, like Seth Rollins just keeps doing it to Roman. How many times can you get away with this? I think finally we start to see that progression happen at Chamber.
Yeah, I agree. Not much more clouded in the Chamber, but there are some things that we need to talk about. Logan Paul. Logan Paul is a thorn in everybody's side when we start talking about this Chamber. Nobody wants the man to fight Cena at WrestleMania. Nobody wants to fight CM Punk at WrestleMania or have Logan fight CM Punk at WrestleMania. But what if Logan Paul ends up pinning either of these guys? Do we think that is the sign of a WrestleMania match?
Dear God. I mean, I don't want Logan Paul anywhere near this match.
Or should we not even talk about this?
Yeah, right?
Let's not even talk it into existence at this point.
Good God. I definitely don't want him pinning Cena.
Oh, God, no.
But
don't do it.
I think CM Punk is pretty likely.
Oh, okay.
I think that's very, very likely. I think that's probably actually who pins CM Punk here. Maybe you have it set up to where maybe that's a night one match at Mania, and maybe you have Punk ended up pulling maybe a double duty with the favor with the final boss thing. I don't know. That's a lot to really ask, but who knows?
He's an old man.
Logan Paul does need something to do at Mania. We don't really have that. We know he's going to be on the card. You're not going to have him not on the card. As much as a lot of people are going to hate it, I think CM Punk is kind of like the money feud that you get there. The promos are going to be good back and forth stuff. And at the end of the day, like, I don't want to see it, but at the end of the day, WWE has told us, hey, this guy's important to us. He's going to be on your TV screens, whether you like it or not. You just kind of got to deal with it.
Look, I'm more positive on Logan Paul than most people, I feel like, in the wrestling, especially in our community. I think that Logan Paul, rightfully so, people don't like Logan Paul, right? He's done some bad things in the past. People would rather him be away from the wrestling scene, right? I understand what WWE is doing, and I think most people do as well. I'm not saying that I'm like some smart guy here. He draws millions and millions of eyeballs. Why not have millions and millions of eyeballs come watch wrestling, right? But this is different. These are John Cena and CM Punk, man. These are the two of the top wrestlers in all companies ever of the past 30 years of wrestling. minimum. One's one of the greatest ever, John Cena. I mean, well, so is Punk, but John Cena's in like Mount Rushmore talks. Don't do this. Don't have Logan Paul pin either of these guys to get them to a WrestleMania match. Now, when Roman comes in, if he does, and I said that he may accidentally screw over CM Punk, we may have Roman cause Logan Paul to pin CM Punk. Fine, but like, let's not have anything that Logan Paul does in the chamber lead to his Mania match, is what I'm more saying.
Yeah, see, I'm on the complete opposite side. Not that I want it to happen, but I 100% think whatever happens at Chamber for Logan Paul is what we get at Mania. 1,000%. There's nothing clear, really kind of set in stone for him. Like I said, as much as I don't want to see it, as much as I am kind of against it, I think that's just kind of the ultimate reality we got to kind of face.
Just do the AJ Styles, Logan Paul. AJ Styles put on the match of the night at WrestleMania 30, whatever it was, against Shane McMahon. He can do it. He can make anybody look amazing. Just do it with AJ Styles. They'll do amazing. Give him 5 weeks to practice. Give us a match at Mania. It'll be fantastic.
You had a real chance there to say make anybody look phenomenal. You didn't take it.
Phenomenal. Well, one last one before we take off. It's the same sort of thing with what we did with the Women's Chamber. It does feel like John Cena, CM Punk are the heavy favorites in this one. But what if we get a swerve? What if CM Punk? What if John Cena does not win this?
Man, there's one answer that would drive people crazy if I said it.
No.
I'm not going to say it.
Good.
I'm going to say Drew McIntyre. Why not? We kind of don't really know where Drew McIntyre's path is. It was kind of reported originally, Damian Priest and him maybe at Mania. People are like, well, that doesn't really kind of give you anything, right? That doesn't really give you the oomph that Drew kind of deserves. Drew was maybe people's MVP last year. Should have probably been on everybody's list, I would say. Drew's still continuing to do great work. Just why not give him a match versus Cody? I think that means that Cody would retain at Mania, but why not give it to him?
I love Drew, and I would love for that to happen, but I think that if it's not Punk, if it's not Cena, it has to be Rollins, because I think that it does end up being sort of a end of that story as well. Cody's return to WWE was against Seth Rollins. They had the trilogy there, which culminated in the pec-torn Hell in a Cell banger of a match, but you do something at WrestleMania, you can really close the chapter. And you could easily have The Rock kind of cloud that feud too, because we already just saw Seth Rollins call him out, right? So you can have Seth Rollins weekly come out here and cloud Cody's mind even further and really draw the line in the sand of like, here's The Rock, here's Seth Rollins, where is Cody going to go with it? And we end up having a match. So you could keep doing the Cody Rhodes heel turn with Seth Rollins. But ultimately, no, I'd rather have Seth Rollins go after Roman Reigns. It needs to be Punk. It needs to be Cena. It's the easy answer, right?
Yeah, it's the easy answer. I do think that if you get the Rollins win here at the Chamber, I don't think you end up really getting that Cody heel turn until maybe Mania.
Yeah.
I think they probably, if that's the case and it is Rollins, you kind of continue to have Rollins be like, listen, man, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And then it happens at Mania, I would say. Almost like Austin and Vince back in the day.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That sounds kind of cool.
1,000%. That's the route that they would go.
It'd be the authority swerve for Cody against Seth. Woo, that'd be nuts.
I'm just saying that's.
I'm gonna change my pick. I want Seth. And that's the great part about this chamber is that a lot of people can win, and it'd be a lot of fun, a lot of ways. So there's only one more thing to do, and that's watch this damn thing. And if you guys want to come watch it with some wrestling fans, we'll be live streaming it and SmackDown tomorrow night. So come to our YouTube channel, COD Wrestle Pod, and watch this stuff with us. We have a great community, and it's a lot of fun, and I encourage you to join. I guarantee you'll love it. But follow us on all of our socials at COD Wrestle Pod, COD Wrestle Pod. Listen to us on YouTube, podcasts, everything, social medias. We have a link tree in our bio. Follow all of it. Come talk. We'd love to talk to you guys. We also have a Discord if you want to come talk to us more personally. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.